In topic 5-4, we're going to learn to use partial quotients to divide. When we multiplied, we used partial products to add to get the final product. What the Common Core wants you to do is add partial quotients to get the final quotient, which I think is kind of ridiculous. I just want you to do it the way you've been taught and been doing on the Common Core worksheets. But let me give you an example. Okay, so I want you to write down, let's go over here. Let's do 132 and divide it by 11. If you need to stop or pause the video to write that down, go ahead. Now, the first thing you ask yourself is, can 11 go into 1? The answer is no. So you can put an X or a 0 above the 1 in the hundreds place in the quotient. Now what do you ask yourself? Can 11 go into 13? The answer is yes. How many times? 1. 1 times 11 is 11. You subtract it. 3 minus 1 is 2. Bring down this 2. Now, let's go back up to this 1. What place value is this 1 in? It's the tens. What's the value of that 1? 10. So that is your first partial quotient. Now, let's go back to this. How many times can 11 go into 22? That would be 2. 2 times 11 is 22. And it terminates. So obviously, you already have the answer right here. The quotient is 12. However, in topic 5-4, what is the value? What place value is the 2 in? It's the 1's place. What's the value of it? 2. So 10 is a partial quotient, and 2 is a partial quotient. What's 10 plus 2? 12. So it doesn't make sense to me to do it double. I mean, you already got the answer here, but I just want you to know that they want you to understand that the partial product, or the partial quotient, is a 10 plus a 2. All right, let's try another problem. Let's try 840 and let's divide it by 21. Now, this will be the only time I ask you to do this. I want you to pause it. I want you to solve this and write the partial quotients out to the side. All right, so the first thing you ask yourself is, can 21 go into 8? The answer is no. So we put an X there. Now, you're going to ask yourself, how many times can 21 go into 84? Well, really, you can ask yourself, how many times can 2 go into 8? And the answer is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So that terminates. We need to bring down the next 0. Because don't forget, you have to have something above the dividend in your quotient above each digit. Here we have an X or 0. We have a digit here, but we don't have one here. Can 21 go into 0? No. So as soon as you say no, you need to put a 0 there. There's your quotient. Now, what are the partial quotients? 40 plus 0 equals 40. That's the partial quotient, and that's the partial quotient. But for now on, I won't ask you that. I just want you to realize what the value of the 4 is, 40, and the 0 in the 1's place. Here, up in here, the 1 is the value of 10, and the value of 2 is 2 in the 1's place. 10 plus 2 is 12. Now, the next problem, I just want you to get the quotient and circle it. So, write this one down. 480 and divide it by 32. Now pause it and circle your quotient. Okay, so the first thing you ask yourself is, can 32 go into the 4? And the answer is no. Now you ask yourself, how many times can 32 go into 48? And that would definitely be 1 time. 1 times 32. Subtract. 8 minus 2 is 4. Bring down the 0. Oh, bad math. 8 minus 2 is not 4. It is 6. Bring down the 0. Bring down the 1. So we got 160. So now you can ask yourself, how many times can the 3 go into 16 without going over? The answer is 5. It may or may not work, but 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. And 160 minus 160 is 0. So my answer is 10 plus 5, and it's 15. So you should know, when I ask you what the partial products are, or the partial quotients are, you should say 10 plus 5, which is 15. Now, if you cannot multiply, this is a crazy way to multiply. You're going sideways. If you have to, just rewrite it off to the side. You're showing work. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. You can do that. All right, let's do 2 more problems. Let's try 713 divided by 23. Pause it and work it out and see if you get it. Now, I hope you guys realize that these division problems are a lot easier than the ones that you're doing in the Common Core worksheets. All right, so 23. How many times can 23 go into 7? It can't. How many times can 23 go into 71? Now again, I don't know for sure, but I can say 2 goes into 7 3 times. So let's try that. What's 3 times 3? 9. What's 3 times 2? 6. Now I got to take a set of 10 from 7, which leaves it 6. And 10 plus 1 is 11. So 11 minus 9 is 2. Bring down the 3. 23 goes into 23 one time. 1 times 23 is 23. Subtract. And you terminate it. So what are the partial quotients? It would be 30 plus 1, which your final quotient is 31. All right, let's do one more. Let's do 731 divided by 43. Now push pause and give me the quotient. Circle your answer and think in your head, what are the partial quotients? All right, so the first question you ask is, can 43 go into 7? No. We put an X there because if you put a 0 there, it doesn't have any value. How many times can 43 go into 7 3? Well, not sure. How many times can 4 go into 7? Once. So 1 times 43 is 43. The difference is 30. You know you're good because your difference is less than your divisor. If it's more than your divisor, then you need to put a number higher. So let's bring down the 1. Right there. Now ask yourself, how many times can 4? Yeah, you can say, how many times can 43 go into 301? But the shortcut is you say, how many times can 4 go into 30 without going over? And the answer is 8 times 4 is 32, so that's too big. So it'd have to be 7. 7 times 3 is 21. Carry the 2. 7 times 4 is 28, 29, 30. We subtract. 301 minus 301 is 0. Now what is the partial quotients? It would be 10 plus 7. And of course that equals 17. So these 3 problems are how I want you to do it on your homework. This I want you to understand. When I ask you, you will know how to give me the partial quotients. And that is the notes for topic 4.